Hey guys, so just in case you haven't heard, we have a sweet little newborn in the house. His name is Patrick Wells. We are absolutely in love with this little guy. So the meaning of his name is God is gracious. It also means somebody that's born of noble ancestry or just noble. And then Wells means from the well or spring. So we absolutely love this little guy. Like I said, we're so thrilled to have a newborn in the house again. We're tired over here. We're real tired. So honestly, this video is probably gonna be really long and rambling. I'm just gonna warn you. But I wanted to record it right now before I forget too many details. He's not quite 2 weeks old yet. And I wanted to just like start from the beginning and just be as long and rambly as I want. Y'all can feel free to click off whenever you want. But I wanted this video recorded now while it's a little bit-ish fresh in my memory, although it's already fading. Anyway, we are so happy to have a newborn in the house again. He's a sweet baby. He has his days and nights. Very mixed up, so like I said, we're pretty tired. But it's been so sweet to see him and Summer interacting. She is absolutely in love with her little brother. She's actually kind of more aggressively affectionate. Like she always comes over and gives him like these really tight hugs and kisses so many times a day. But she's pretty happy with him. And of course we are too. We're so proud of him. I really love the newborn stage, even though it's exhausting, but I always miss it so bad when it's gone. Just their sweet little newborn crunch, and they're just, there's something about it. And every baby is such a gift, and it doesn't, I thought that the second baby might not be as special, like in my brain. I thought, well, maybe it's not quite, it's not the first, whatever, but he's every bit as special and as loved as the first baby. So that's exciting, because in case you're like me and just wasn't sure, let it be known that your heart indeed does grow double the size for the second baby. So I cannot wait to share his birth story with you guys. It's a bit of a wild one. I wish so bad that I would have just written down even like timestamps, like during my labor, just different things, but you'll see how crazy it was. And so I just really didn't have the brain space for that. Starting with Wednesday. Wednesday is the day before he was born. My friend Kate and I, we went and had a really fun day. We were out and about, took the kids to like this park. I don't know how to describe it really, but we kind of had a lot of walking, and it was just a pretty active day. It was a beautiful fall day. Then we went out to Chinese and we got coffee. Kind of wish I would have got like an espresso or something, knowing the night ahead. I would have gotten like an extra shot of caffeine in there. Anyways, and came home, and we made jokes all that day, like, oh, what if it's soon? But it also could be, it was like a week before my due date, so I was like, it could be 2 weeks from now, or it could be tonight. Like, you just never know. Like, yeah, you just never know with labor. But I truly thought it could be a while. Yeah, I told her, I feel like I'm getting my period. I feel super crampy. My back hurts, but I've been having contractions already for weeks, like off and on. Some pretty good, solid contractions, and I thought, second babies, they're just, you never know how it's gonna go. So I just really, so my whole mindset with labor, I'll just tell you right now, was I'm gonna go into this labor really chill. So I prayed very much before labor even started, in the weeks leading up, that I would have such a peace that passed all understanding with labor. So in my mind, I'm thinking, even if I have to have, something goes wrong and I have to have a C-section, or even if I have an epidural, even if I have all of these different things that's not like in my ideal of a perfect birth, I want to be okay with it, Lord. Just whatever happens, please just let me be so okay with it. Help me be at peace. I don't want to be all worked up during labor. And I was really just had this mindset that I'm going to be chill during labor, as in, I do not want fear to be a part of this labor. I kind of want to be able to work and just ignore. My tactic was just to ignore labor. As in, I'm going to work. In my brain, I'm thinking, if it's in the middle of the day, I'm going to try to clean my house. I'm going to work. I'm just going to be totally chill. I had just watched Farmhouse on Boone's birth story, and her tactic was also just to ignore labor until you can't ignore it anymore. And I thought, that's what I'm going to do this time, because I had such a long labor with my first baby, and I was so like in my head so early on with her, as in like really thinking about labor. It was my first time having a baby, and I was just like, I thought of it every second of the day that I was in labor. And this time I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to ignore labor. I'm just going to work. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to just cope and not think about it so much. And I had really kind of struggled with guilt this pregnancy, because I had not, what you want to talk about not prepared for labor. I wasn't prepared, as in I didn't hardly exercise. I hardly like ate, you're supposed to like eat dates and red raspberry leaf tea and all of these tinctures and things, and I had done so little to prepare my body for labor. And I do not recommend that, by the way. I just thought every time I saw something to do with labor, like on Instagram, like an Instagram post of like labor coping mechanism, like a coping strategies, or labor this, labor that, everything, like I didn't look at a birth class, nothing this time. Like every time I would just kind of get anxious and worried, and so I thought, Lord, you are my helper in this labor. Like I have nothing going for me. I'm overweight. Like I truly am so unprepared, Lord, for this baby. Please forgive me for not taking good care of my third trimester body, as in working out and doing all of these things that you're supposed to do to have an optimal labor. I did go to the chiropractor very, very regularly, but I said, Lord, it's up to you to get this baby out of me healthy and happy and fine, because I don't know why, I just kind of struggle a little bit with the guilt of that. But I said, one thing I will do for this labor is I will learn how to breathe correctly, and I will not have fear as part of my labor, and I will also learn how to relax, like from head to toe, try really, really, really hard to just relax my brain, but also my body, like from my tips of my toes to my fingernails. Like I am going to learn how to relax. And those are literally the only two tools I went into labor with. And they're extremely effective, but like I'm just gonna breathe, and I'm just gonna like not push the labor pain away. I'm gonna embrace every labor contraction every contraction that came even weeks before my labor. I was like, yep, bring it. That's one closer to meeting my baby. And I just had that mindset. Like anytime I had a contraction, I was like, yay, awesome, another contraction. Yeah, this is wonderful. One closer. I just had my mindset like that. But as far as like physically, I would say my body really wasn't ready. You know what I mean? Like doing all those wonderful things you're supposed to do, and bouncing on your labor ball, and all of these stretches and things you're supposed to do, didn't do it. But my brain was a lot better this time. So we had a fun day with Kate. I had a chiropractic treatment that evening. Came home really, really tired because it had been a long day on my feet, whatever. Came home really tired, but I had a chiropractic treatment that evening, and he adjusted me, and I went, ow, like out loud. That's the first time I've ever moaned even during his treatments. I was like, ouch. And I felt kind of embarrassed because I like literally said that out loud. And then he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Did I hurt you? And I'm like, I said, oh, I can't even talk, you know. And I said, text my husband on the way home from the chiropractor. I said, this dude put me in labor just now. That hurt. Like something he did hurt. Just like waist down, I felt something shift. And I had told him, I said, the midwife had told me my baby's a little bit sideways. He's not like, you know, he's a little bit sideways, hitting my one nerve here. Can you please work on this one hip section so that my baby potentially can just, you know, get in the right position? I had told my chiropractor that, and he did that. He did something, crackety something, and I felt this baby just settle. Like my waist down, I just felt ow, like ow. And so I told my husband, hey, like haha, I think my chiropractor just put me in labor. And he's like, okay. Anyway, but I decided to go to TJ Maxx after that because I was like, this legit, in my brain, like I said, I'll just keep saying this. I kept thinking this could go a long ways yet. I went over a week overdue almost with summer. I'm still a week early. I'm just not going to think about labor. So I walked around TJ Maxx, picked up a frame, kind of hurting the whole time I was in there. But keep in mind, I also have just been like having a lot of contractions the last little while, and nothing new. You know, just those last couple weeks of pregnancy are kind of brutal. You just kind of hurt. That's just the general theme of the last couple weeks. So it's a little bit more intense, but whatever. Came home, my husband's like, are you in labor? And it was like 8 to 8:30. And I said, yeah, you know, I said, if I let my mind think about it, I'm in early labor. I would consider myself to be in early labor, but I'm not going to think about it. I came home, took a shower. He's like, okay. I said, if I had it my way, I would not go into labor till tomorrow. I want to sleep all night tonight, so I'm going to will myself to just sleep all night tonight, wake up, clean my house, because I wanted to do one big Saturday cleaning of my house yet, and before I felt ready for the baby, you know. And so I said, I can't talk. So I said, I'm going to sleep all night tonight, and then I'll wake up, I'll get into labor, early labor tomorrow morning, and then I'll clean my house while I'm in labor, and then I'll have the baby that evening, and then it's the weekend, and then we get to stay home. It's awesome because you're going to be home for the weekend. It's going to be amazing to have you home for the weekend, and then you get to take off a couple more days. It's just going to be amazing to have this baby over the weekend. It's a perfect time to have a baby, right? And he's like, yep, sure, cool. So I went and took a shower, long shower, shaved my legs, washed my hair, tried to like not think about it, that could be in labor, but I'm like, I'll shave my legs just in case I'm going into labor. Oh, why don't I look all groomed and primed up, ready to go? And long relaxing shower, and I was just a little bit something happening here. But I tried to crawl into bed. It was like around 10 o'clock. Got into bed, and Troy asked me again, "Are you in labor?" I said, "I'm not thinking." I said, "Yes, I am in labor," because stuff was starting to really pick up speed here. Or they were around that time. I was like, "Can I breathe through these contractions? I mean, can I talk? Can I talk?" Because everybody's like, that's kind of a measuring scale. Like, how far along in labor are you if you can talk through contractions? And I'm like, wow, I'm already having a hard time like talking through these. These are pretty solid. But I laid down and I told Troy. He's like, "Why are you so peaceful?" So he's like, "You're in labor." He's like, "Are you in labor?" I said, "Yeah, beginning stages." I said, he's like, "Why are you so calm?" I said, "I just don't want fear to be a part of this. I'm going to be calm as a cucumber throughout this thing." And I said, "Go to sleep," because he's like, "Do you want me to stay up?" I was like, no, go to sleep. I'm going to try to lay down, go to sleep, and just sleep these things off, and if I need you, I'll wake you or whatever. But I said, you need to sleep because tomorrow I'll go into labor, not today. Maybe tomorrow, but maybe even next week. I said, honestly, we never know. And so he went to bed. I laid down for just a teeny bit, maybe half hour or something. Didn't sleep, maybe an hour. I don't know, honestly. And I tried to lay down, relax from head to toe every time. But these contractions they just kept coming and intensifying. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to sleep. I can't sleep through these. So I got up and I went downstairs and I just paced the living room and just walked the whole time. Breathed through my contractions, played some music, I think, maybe Snapchatted some of my friends and just be like, hey, I might be in labor, early labor, but it might not be, Every single time I told someone that I was maybe in labor but I always ended it with like, might not be. I so badly didn't want to be dramatic and I didn't want to like cry wolf. Like something about potentially being in labor but then like a week later still not having the baby just embarrassed me. It was so weird, but like I just was like, I just didn't want to make a big deal of something that probably wasn't even real, And but I walked around, didn't sleep, and I was like, these contractions are they're not going anywhere. I drank a ton of water, just in case, it was just like dehydration or something. Drank a ton of water, and just these contractions aren't going anywhere. Let me see my timestamp now, because I'm kind of confused. Around like 1, this was like 10 when I went to bed, and then maybe I was downstairs for a couple hours. So then around like 1 o'clock, I decided, I'm going to start counting these contractions, just kind of casual, like download a contraction app on my phone. But it was really hard for me to count the contractions because I was like really in the zone and it was just kind of difficult for me to keep track of them. I tried and they would come about like every 2 minutes, every 3 minutes, but then they would I'd have like a really hard one and then the rest were like a lot more chill. And then it would not quite last a minute. I Googled like, when do you go to the hospital? And someone said, it said 311. So basically every 3 minutes contraction lasting for a minute for an hour. And I'm like, well, I've not been counting these contractions for an hour. I really am not going to think about it. Like I honestly just put my phone away. I was just like, I'm just going to breathe through these contractions and I don't want to bother Troy yet. But like I said, my labor was like 42 hours or longer last time. I should count again how long that was. And so I'd had such a long labor that the thought that I'm in the very first beginning stages of my labor, I just thought that I was in the beginning stages of my labor and there's no way I'm going to go to the hospital only to be sent home again. Or like I just was so determined for that not to happen. An hour after that, around 2 o'clock, maybe a little bit after, they were so, like a lot of pressure. So I was just pacing around, trying to count my contractions, but also just like, it was just hard for me to count them. They were coming one after the other, and I was just like, oh, it just annoyed me to count them. I don't know why it did, but it just did. So around 2 to 2:30, I text Lois, my mother-in-law, who was going to watch Summer when we go to the hospital. She was going to come over and just stay with her overnight while we go to the hospital, and then take her back to her house or whatever. And I said, hey, tonight might be the night. I'm hopping into the tub right now just to get some relief. But I then again so casually sent that message. She never did read it then. And I was like, I just need to get some relief. I'm going to hop in the tub, not knowing that I was totally in transition. And they were just coming back to back to back to back. But I thought, anyway, it was just crazy. So I hopped in the tub, text her. She never read my text. Then again, not trying to cry wolf and be dramatic. I want to labor as much as possible at home and then go into the hospital and have the baby. I want to be able to just take this like a man, not like a man, but like a woman, and I'll go into the hospital when, whatever. Does that make any sense? I don't know. My brain is kind of crazy right now. Got into the tub and I had this hot water, soaked in it for a while, and I thought to myself, hot water? This is supposed to cut your pain in half? I said, this is, I don't know what word I said, but I was like, this isn't working. Like, I just thought to myself, I was trying so hard to relax in the tub, and I was like, this isn't helping. This hot water is not helping me. I thought that water births really are amazing. I said, or not water births, water in labor is amazing. I was like, this isn't helping. And not knowing, like I said, I was totally in transition. They were coming back to back. Troy kind of woke up. He heard me moaning. I started moaning in there. Like these deep moans, and I had a hard time getting out of the tub. Finally, I was like, I'm gonna get out of the tub and just talk to Troy and say, we need to call Lois to come get Summer. I said, this is getting really intense. So like I said, I was in the tub moaning around and really had a hard time getting out of that tub. Got out of the tub and I told Troy, can you just help me? I woke up, like he kind of woke up with me moaning in there, and I was like, can you just help me deal with these contractions? I'm like, maybe put pressure on my hips, squeeze my hips, just help me work through these, help me breathe through these. I'm having a little bit of a hard time just staying, in the zone or whatever. I keep saying in the zone, but just, I just need some help. And he was like, oh yeah, sure. So he jumped out of bed, and then he's like, just very shortly after that, things started happening really fast. He didn't even help me maybe through one contraction, and I was like, oh wow, like, call your mom, let's go to the, he's like, let's go to the hospital. I'm like, yeah, let's go to the hospital. These are really, really getting hard. I mean, not getting hard, they were hard, but they were coming I wasn't getting any break in between them. And he's like, do you want to call my mom? I was like, yep, call your mom, let's go to the hospital. So from then on, it changed from so quickly. It was like, help me with these contractions. No, call your mom to come get Summer. No, call your mom. And then so he's like flying around trying to get the car parked, and I'm like, where is he? During this time, these contractions were coming really intense. Like, I had a hard time getting dressed. I could not get my clothes on, and I was like, I can't get dressed. I'm gonna walk into the hospital basically naked because I cannot get dressed right now. Like, I was having one contraction after the other, and I could not get my clothes on. Anyway, and I'm like, who cares? I don't care. I don't care at all. So he's running around. All of a sudden, I have to push, and I am in my bedroom, and I was like, I just melted to the floor. Like, I just totally melted to the floor during a contraction, and he wasn't around. Like, I was like, Troy, where are you? And then I started pushing. I had to push, and my water broke right then, and I was like, oh my word, like, I'm about to have this baby. And then I thought, oh no, I pushed an hour and a half last time. My little crazy brain, you're in the middle of labor, you're not thinking straight. I was like, I pushed an hour and a half last time. I surely have time to make it to the hospital between pushes, right? Right? I pushed, he came up the stairs, and I said, I'm starting to push. I said, and my water just break. And the man just hyperventilates. Just panic eyes, looks like he wants to cry, just hyperventilates. And I was like, and he just races around. I don't know what he's doing. He's literally like almost running around me in circles. He's throwing the bags in the car, parking the car crazy so that I can jump in, or not crazy, in a way that I can jump in. Anyway, and then I was on my fours in the bedroom, and as he was coming up the stairs, I made the executive decision we're not having this baby at the hospital. This baby is coming now, because I had another push that I had to push again. It was like only like a minute later, and I had forgot to tell him that this baby's coming here. He still was in hospital mindset, naturally, right? Because I had told him let's go to the hospital, and so he wasn't even thinking that this baby is coming. He wasn't even registering that this baby is coming way faster than, because I hadn't even told him. Of course not. Of course he wasn't thinking that. Finally, I was like on my fours, on my nice, beautiful bedroom rug, and all I could think about was my beautiful rug, so I scooted my butt off the rug, and I'm on my fours, and I'm like, he finally came back. I was like, he kept disappearing. Like, literally, he was just gone and gone and gone, and I'm like, where are you? I told him, like, where were you? Like, stay with me, I told him, just like that, just my little fist on the floor. I was like, stay with me, and he's like, why? He's like, we need to go to the hospital. I said, no. I said, this baby is coming now. I have to push. Like, this baby is coming right now. And he's just like, oh, this baby's coming now. This baby's coming now. And I said, no. I said, that's fine. All of a sudden, once I switched from, we don't have to go to the hospital. We can't make it to the hospital. We're going to have this baby here. There was like this piece that just 100%, I can't even describe it. I was 100% at peace. Like, so chill. It was so matter of fact that I felt like I was just doing like an ordinary household chore. Like, it was, I can't even describe it. It was the Lord. I know it was the Lord, but it was like 100% peaceful. Like, I went from, my whole labor was pretty peaceful, but once I figured out, okay, yeah, nope, this baby's coming here, I was like, my brain just was as clear as day. As clear as day. I was like, okay. And he was like freaking out. And I was like, no, Troy, it's okay. Stay focused. I said, just go get me some towels and go get me a bowl, because I want to throw up, but I also want it for the placenta. Like, I need a bowl for the placenta. For some reason, that's what my brain said. Towels and a bowl. And he's like, okay. And then he calmed down a lot more, because he saw that I was really chill. And I was like, just calm down. It's going to be fine. Call your mom and tell her. I think he did this like a little bit earlier. I was like, tell your mom, tell her to hurry. She's not only going to have to take care of the baby, take care of my daughter. She's also, she's not a certified midwife, but she helps with births, or she has a lot, and she needs to come help us. This is no longer a grandma duty. This is like midwife rules. You gotta switch hats, grandma. We need some help here. SOS, hurry up, please, So the poor thing, she is racing over here as fast as she can. In the meantime, I have her on the phone, and so like Troy totally like calms. He doesn't totally calm down, but he's like way more calm, whatever, because I'm just on my fours pushing this baby out, and he's in front of me, because he's like so used to being the husband, the supporter. So he's like in front of me. He brought me my towels. He brought me, bless his heart, my nicest, luscious, white, brand new spa towels. 6 of them. Because it was the closest thing available. And he brought me a big bowl. Anyways, and so he's in front of me. I'm on my fourth, and he's in front of me, like at my head, and I'm like, rubbing my back. It's okay, it's fine. Or not, it's like he's just talking to me. I can't remember what he's saying. And then I'm like, no, Troy, you gotta go behind me, honey. This baby comes out this way, like I was just like, it was almost like funny. Anyway, and so on my fours, and I keep saying that, my goodness, in one push, the head's out. So I'm talking to his mom, my mom-in-law. She can't see me some reason. I thought it was FaceTiming, but I don't think she can see me. But I see her in a tiny, like, she's over there. I thought about calling 911, and then I'm like, my mother-in-law has done this so many times. She's 911, basically. I would much rather talk to somebody that I know, but it just felt like literally as natural as things I've done 100 times. Like, it felt so natural. So I'm talking to my mother-in-law, and during the pushing, even before I talked to her on the phone, I was like, the Lord is my helper, the Lord is my helper, the Lord is my helper, the Lord. I was like chanting to myself, just trying to like stay super calm and at peace, and just forcing myself to stay calm through this. And I was like, the Lord is my helper, the Lord is my helper, the Lord is my helper. Because I was like, I don't know where Troy is, but the Lord is my helper, the Lord is my helper. So Troy got turned around there, and I was like, I was like, this head is coming. And so he felt, and sure enough, the head was, with one more push, the head was out, and then less than a minute later, the entire body was out, and it was just amazing. Like, I can't even tell you, like, I am on a birth high from that yet. And I was just talking to her, and I was like, I don't push during the Ring of Fire, right? Like, the Ring of Fire, you just like pants, right? And I'm like talking, but I felt like I was talking to myself. Like, I was just like, it was almost like I was just reciting anything I had ever heard. I was like, to myself, I was like, I'm not going to push during the Ring of Fire. I'm just going to pant. I'm going to push this baby out. And yeah, I only had to push maybe 4 times, maybe 5 times max from start to finish. As in the first feeling I had to push to having the baby. And the baby just came out, and Troy handed him to me. And like, he was behind me, so he handed him to me. I brought him to my chest, and he just yelled, like the loudest, most healthy, like, cry. It was so amazing. I literally get chills just thinking about it. But it was like immediate, like just this scream, like a yell. Anyway, it was so amazing. I was just like, like sink back. I just like sunk back, and I was like, oh my word, that was so insane. And so I held him, and I tried to wipe his face and his nose and mouth and everything like that. And Troy was like, kept saying, is he okay? Is he okay? Is he okay? And I was like, yeah, he's fine. And in the back of my head too, I was like, I knew that, like, typically, it's not every time, but when babies come fast and furious like that, so much of the time, they're okay. Like, that was at least what my brain was telling me. And so I wasn't even stressed about him. Maybe I should have been even more, but I wasn't. Like, I figured if this baby's coming how he wants to, like, he'll probably be fine. Anyway, and I'm just like in my own natural environment, in the weirdest little spot in my bedroom, honestly. Such a strange spot to have a baby. Huddled in the corner by the dresser, you know. Anyway, and I held this baby up and just held him to me. He cried like crazy, like I said. It was just amazing. But he cried like immediately. And he just looked, his skin color, like his skin tone, everything looked perfect. Like, he was a perfect baby. His APGAR score was 10. And he was perfect. His umbilical cord looked really, really healthy. And I just held him to me, and we just both kind of like, oh my word. Like, it was comical. Like, I can't even tell you. Like, it was such a relief. Like, you know, that relief that just pours over you when you know you have a healthy baby. It's such a gift. And the pain is over, almost over, and you're just like, oh my goodness, that was so insane, because like 10 minutes ago, I was telling him we need to go to the hospital. It went from like, we need to go to the hospital, call your mom to come get Summer, to SOS, call your mom to come right now. And then just like, okay, no, we're not making it. Yeah, we're just not making it. The baby's coming here. Everything, the last 10 minutes just happened so fast. Like, from getting out of the tub to having that baby just was a matter of minutes. Like, it was just minutes. So that tub must have just super relaxed me or something. I don't know. Anyway, I should have went to the hospital literally like an hour or 2 before that. Like, so I'm holding this baby, and we're looking at Troy, and Troy kept saying, is he okay? Is he okay? I was like, oh yeah, he's fine. Like, look at him. He looks perfect. And he, like I said, he cried. His skin tone was great. Then he settled against me. And we're just there, and I have this towel hunched over. I have this towel over my back, and I'm just like kind of holding him. And but she came, and it was just amazing to have her to talk to, and to someone to call, because otherwise I would have had the whole scenario would have been so much more stressful for me if I would have had to call 911, have a bunch of strapping big EMTs in my room, like these grown men, you know, in my room. They don't actually have to be men, obviously, but all of a sudden, like, this super chill, peaceful labor and birth would have been felt different if I would have had to be, you know, carried down our tiny little stairs, hauled to the hospital. It just would have felt so different if I had nobody to call. So thank God I had someone to call. And she sped over. It was so funny. She was barely dressed. You know, she came over as fast as she could. Didn't make it for the birth, but that's okay. And yeah, so I'm there huddled in the corner of the room when she comes. I have all these towels around me, and of course there's blood and gore everywhere. And we almost like I saw her come in and I think I like laughed. Like I was like, this is just funny. Like I don't know, I was so amused by the whole situation. I kind of waddled over to the tub and took a cold bath because I just used up all the hot water from my previous bath. So I had the baby, we both kind of just like cleaned up a tiny bit, and then she kind of helped clean up the floor, and her and Troy, I guess, were helping all these beautiful white towels and try to clean up the crime scene. And it was like crazy, but it was such a surreal feeling. I just can't even tell you. Like, the thing about it was such a wonderful experience. Like, it just didn't. Like, I have no bad memories of my birth. Like, I don't. It was still, I would say my labor was 7 hours long, start to finish, but it just was so much more doable. Short and intense, I'll take that any day over long 42-hour labor. Like, my mother-in-law was able to check the baby. She didn't even check me or anything, but I was fine. I don't think I like tore or anything because I just didn't think it didn't feel like I did, and she never did get checked at all by anybody if I tore or anything. But just the way I hardly had to push or anything like that, I don't think I tore. And I just feel like my recovery has been a night and day difference. There's no comparison to the first baby and the second baby for me. I don't know. This legit might turn me into a home birther. I always thought that maybe by the third baby I'd be a home birther, you know. Not planning at all on having a home birth for the second one. But it happened. The Lord knew it. Anyways, and it was just amazing to be able to, I'm not gonna lie, so far the whole home birth experience has been like 10-10. Except for the fact, I would say, one, I love being able to crawl into my own bed that night. Oh my word, luxurious, and not be poked and prodded by nurses every 2 hours that are just doing their jobs, but like, no one interrupting me. Hallelujah, that's amazing. But I will say that nurses are nice at the hospital for some things. Like, I felt kind of bad for Troy because he had to be the nurse. You know what I mean? Like, he had to be the nurse. He had to go get me my water and my pain pills and like all this kind of stuff. He's always running around, whereas if you're at a hospital, you do get to relax, or like at a birth center or something like that, or have a team of midwives, whatever. Not a team of midwives, but you get what I'm saying. That's the nicest part about having a hospital birth, is like you get so much care, and someone brings you food, and like your husband doesn't have to do all that. That is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, that's my birth story. And then the next day, so I had to call into the hospital and tell them that I had my baby. And I was dreading that call a little bit because I thought, what are they going to think about this? Because my mother-in-law, it was an accidental home birth, which happens, but my mother-in-law had checked the baby. The baby was fine, as in just she weighed him. She just checked to see if he's fine and other little things, whatever. But then the next day I had an official midwife come out, and she can do every test that the hospital does. You know, like the hearing test and blood work and blood type and what all that they do at the hospital, and get his birth certificate and social security and all of that. She was able to do, she's certified, so she's able to do that. That was so nice because she came to my house and we just like laughed at the hospital bill, like the birth bill, because I had this baby at home accidentally. By the way, don't recommend this for saving money, but it did help because we literally just had like a $6,000 transmission go on in our car. Our washer's breaking down. We have an ant infestation. We had to get someone to kill all our bees in our house, exterminate. We had like all these things happening in 1 week. Our dishwasher was like showing codes, and I was like, okay, cool. This is just one more expense, so we can. I mean, one less expense is whatever. So we laughed at the hospital at the midwife bill because it was like $245. That's including all the tests. That's including her visit and everything. We're like, $245? This fits our budget. Anyways, but it was, yeah, she's very sweet. Midwife came out. So she got to do all the tests. So I felt better about that, like, because we were wondering, like, do we go into the hospital, like, after we have the baby? Like, do we go back into the hospital and just make sure that I'm really fine, make sure the baby's fine? But my bleeding was good. I had no concerns about me at all. And some people might have went to the hospital just to feel better, but I guess because I had my mom-in-law there, who was experienced, and then I had a midwife come out the next morning, that to me, that just felt good enough. And it might not be for everybody, but it did. It felt good enough for me. I mean, she gave me my Rogam shot. She did all the things that they do at the hospital. And so yeah, that's what happened. So, and also my mother-in-law cut the cord. I was totally forgot about that part. My mother-in-law cut the cord, examined the placenta, all of those things to make sure that there's not, you know, anything missing in the placenta or whatever, which is just fascinating. But yeah, that's my birth story, guys. I don't know. Sorry it got so long, but actually I'm not really sorry. I don't even care that it got long. And I love it. Like it was such a I guess it was such a peaceful labor. Hard as in contractions, but so doable compared to a long drawn out labor in my opinion. So there it is, and we're so thankful for a healthy little baby, because you know it's not always that way. It is not always that way. We never want to take it for granted. Bad things can happen during labor or even with a baby, so we're just extremely grateful. And I also wanted to add too that if you ask Troy like what was his experience with the birth, I don't think he's like traumatized at all. Like in the moment, of course he was like, oh my word, like, oh no, because this is not any husband's like ideal scenario. But now I think looking back, he's not like he was like, I think we were both kind of giddy over it, if anything, or like we thought it was funny and just crazy, more like just wild. But it wasn't like a bad traumatizing memory in his mind, I don't think. Anyways, I could ask him again, but we've had a really, really wonderful week, like recovering from the birth. He was able to use his vacation days, and so he stayed with me for, I think it was like a week or almost a week. He was able to stay home, and we had like the best week. Like it was a wonderful week. I'm recovering super well, and he's a great help, like such a good help. And it was just like we're loving our two little kids, and also Summer got to stay with her grandma for a couple days, so we were able to just be us three at home with the baby, bond with the baby. Hi, sugars. And it was like the best. I have like nothing but really good memories of that week. So there's that. So I don't think you have to worry about Troy being too traumatized about the whole experience. He got to catch the baby. When do you ever say that? Like, I caught my own baby. That's pretty cool. And then, like I said, later on, Lois did show up. But it was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy. So, yeah. And I'll show him to you guys really quick. He's sleeping. I shouldn't wake him up, but I will. Patrick, you want to say hi? Oh, you're sleeping. I'm so sorry to wake you up. Oh, nice burp, buddy. Oh, goodies. Hi. Oh, stretch. Stretchies. Feel good? Anyway, he's a mini Troy, I think. I don't know. Some people sometimes I don't see Troy at all. His hair is definitely Troy. I see my family some, but I still think he's more Troy than anybody. There he is. And there's my birth story, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure I forgot major details, but I can't think right now. Way too tired. Anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye. You gonna come say hi, Summer? Come say hi. Goodness, I'm a mom of two now, guys. Can you believe it? I can hardly believe it. Say hi. Say hi. Talk to you guys later.